It was a quiet Saturday afternoon when my world went dark. I was in my basement nursery, lost in the lush green of my tropical haven, misting a delicate Nepenthes Raja saw pitcher plant, its glossy trap glinting under the warm glow of LED grow lights. The hum of humidifiers and the soft whir of circulation fans filled the air, keeping my rare orchids and carnivorous plants in perfect harmony. 78-degree F, 85 fan tram humidity, etched in my mind like a mantra. Pan, sao kulik sao. Silence. Not just the grow lights flickering out, but everything saw. The humidifiers choked. The fans died. The digital displays went blank. All that remained was the frantic beeping of the uninterruptible power supply, UPS, a desperate cry from the last line of defense. My heart sank. This wasn't a patio full of tough geraniums. These were my baby's years of work, thousands of dollars, and countless hours coaxing fussy, paphiopedilum saw orchids to bloom and sarracenia saw pitchers to form their deadly traps. A prolonged outage on a warm day like this? It was a death sentence. Some plants wouldn't last hours without stable conditions. Panic hit like a jolt of ice water, but my training kicked in. I'm Ethan Carter, City Chief Electrical Inspector, though my nosy HOA president didn't know that yet. Okay, Ethan, I muttered, grabbing my phone's flashlight. Diagnose. Don't freak out. I checked the nursery's subpanel. Breaker's on. Upstairs, the main house panel in the garage looked fine. No trip breakers, just eerie silence. No frium, no maikiwoklok. My phone showed neighbors' Wi-Fi signal strong, so it wasn't a grid issue. Just my house. The UPS beeped faster, a reminder that its batteries were meant for brief outages, not sustaining my nursery's delicate ecosystem. My mind raced to the Serre VYC entrance, the main disconnect. I bolted outside, squinting in the sunlight, and rounded the house to the utility panel. The metal box was ajar, its heavy breaker handle yanked down to off, severing every electron to my home. And there, pretending to admire my climbing roses, was Linda Harper, HOA president, neighborhood watchdog, and self-proclaimed enforcer of rules. She straightened as I approached, her fake innocence as Con V. Wine Singh as a bad actor in a low-budget flick. Linda, I said, my voice low, years of dealing with stress contractors keeping me calm, did you just cut power to my entire house? She blinked, all wide-eyed shock. Ethan, heavens, no, I was just checking out her roses. Then, gesturing at the open panel, she added, I noticed this. Electrical thingy was open. Looked dangerous. Kids could get in there. And I heard a weird humming from your house earlier. Thought I'd check. Check. I pointed at the breaker handle. You checked by throwing a 200 amp Serre VYC disconnect? Do you know how dangerous that is? Or what you've done to my equipment, my saw plants saw? Her mask slipped, replaced by that smug, righteous glare she wore like a badge. If your house wasn't humming like a factory and sucking up power all hours, people wouldn't need to investigate, she snapped. What are you running in there, Ethan? Your bills must be through the roof. The HOAs had complaints anonymous, ones about your energy use, those weird lights. Anonymous, sure. As anonymous as Linda snooping around my basement windows. She'd been obsessed with my power usage since I installed the nursery's climate control system. Her imagination, fed by gossip forums, probably pictured a crypto mine or a drug lab. The true fussy plants needing precise conditions was too dull for her. The irony? I just installed solar panels to offset the nursery's load. The contractors, Tom and Jake, were on my roof right now, finishing the setup. Explaining solar energy or plant lighting to Linda, though, felt like teaching a brick wall quantum physics. Linda, I said, my voice tight, picturing my saw helianthera saw wilting in the heat. This isn't about HOA rules. You tampered with high-voltage equipment. That's illegal, potentially criminal. She didn't move, instead whipping out her laminated HOA bylaws, flipping to a marked page. Section 12, Paragraph 4 bans active VY ties, straining community resources, she declared, tapping the page. And Section 7 prohibits unlicensed businesses. Those purple lights in your basement? Suspicious. I reached for the breaker handle. It was stiff, built for safety. Linda stepped closer, her hand near the box. "I forbid you to touch that," she barked. "Not until we know what illegal operation you're running. I'm calling the police." I lost it for a second. "Those are horticultural LEDs, Linda," I shouted. VY signs of my Dracula saw orchid suffering. For plants. Orchids, flytraps, sundew snot, a meth lab. She scoffed. Utterly con V wine said. "Plants don't need that much power. My begonias do fine with sunlight. You're hiding something." She dialed 911, her voice dripping with drama. "Yes, I need to report suspicious active VY tie at 124 Willow Lane. Excessive energy use, strange noises, purple lights. I suspect an illegal business, maybe drugs. The homeowner's hostile." I pinched my nose, closing my eyes. She called 911 because I wanted my power back after she saw shut it off based on her paranoid delusions. The audacity was staggering. On the roof, Tom and Jake paused, exchanging confused looks. Next door, Mr. Thompson's curtains twitched. The neighborhood was getting a show. My plants were drooping, the UPS fading fast. The police arrived quickly, lights off, pulling up smoothly. Officer Daniels, who looked like he'd dealt with Linda's nonsense for years, stepped out with his younger partner, Officer Lee, trying to look stern. Linda pounced, launching in her tale of CIVYC duty. "Officers, thank goodness. Ethan Carter's been acting suspicious high energy use, humming noises, purple lights. I suspect an illegal operation. When I checked a safety hazard by his meter, he got hostile." I waited, hands VY Seibel, voice calm. "Officers, I'm Ethan Carter, homeowner. Ms. Harper trespassed and flipped my mainsail VYC disconnect, cutting power to my house without permission. It's endangering my basement nursery rare plants, needing precise climate control. Her tampering is reckless and dangerous." Daniels and Lee glanced at the open panel, the breaker clearly off, then at Linda's indignant pose and my strained calm. They exchanged a look that said this wasn't their usual neighbor spat. "Did you flip this breaker?" Daniels asked Linda. She puffed up. "I ensured it was safe as HOA president. It's my duty to investigate violations." Lee cut in blunt. "So you turn it off?" Linda doubled down. It seemed prudent given the circumstances. From the roof, Tom called down, "Officers, we saw it all." She yanked that lever like starting a mower, then poked around his roses like nothing happened. Jake nodded. Linda's face, flushed witnesses weren't helping her story. I seized the moment. "Officers, my nursery's at risk. Can you see it? It'll explain everything." After a glance, they agreed. I led them through the garage to the basement, Linda trailing until Daniel stopped her. "Ma'am, stay outside." My phone's flashlight lit the way the UPS's dim glow showed rows of orchids, pitcher plants, and flytraps, their delicate beauty stark against the silent equipment. The displays showed dropping temperature and humidity. The UPS beeped relentlessly. "This is it," I said, voice steady despite my churning gut. "Rare tropical plants needing stable conditions. The outage is killing them. Some won't serve VYVE hours without power." Daniels looked around, clearly out of his depth, but getting the stakes. "Just plants?" Lee asked, incredulous. "Yes, officer. Legal, demanding plants. My hobby." Daniels nodded, glancing upstairs where Linda waited. "Ma'am," he told her firmly, "let Mr. Carter restore power now." Linda, defiant, crossed her arms. "Not until we know his power usage. He's probably overloading the greatest safety issue for everyone." My opening. "Officers," I said, calm but firm, "call the city utility. They can restore power safely, check for damage, and verify my load. I'll cooperate fully. Maybe they can explain safety protocols to Ms. Harper." Daniels latched onto the idea, relieved. "Good plan. We'll call them." The wait was agony. Each UPS beep a stab. Linda paced, muttering about bylaws. Tom and Jake shook their heads from the roof. Finally, a city power truck rolled up. Greg, a grizzled lineman, hopped out, surveying the scene with weary resignation. Daniels briefed him. Neighbor dispute. HOA president flipped the breaker, Homeowner needs power for sensitive equipment. Greg whistled, eyeing the lever. Yank the main disconnect? Haven't seen that since a guy hosed down meter readers in '98. He turned to Linda. Ma'am, this box? Utility property. Messing with it's a big no-no, potentially a federal offense and dangerous. Linda sputtered about humming and safety. Greg ignored her, checking the meter with his multimeter. Looks okay, he muttered. No major damage. Lucky. To me. Your panel's ready for the load? I nodded, voice shaky with relief. All set. Please hurry. With a grunt, Greg shoved the lever up. Sao tung sao. Lights flickered on, the AC hummed. My plants had power. From the roof, Tom yelled, Hey, Greg, tell her the solar panels we're installing will saw his grid draw. Might save some trouble. Greg chuckled, glancing at Linda's stunned face. Heard that? He's going solar, probably selling power back soon. Linda's brain seemed to short-circuit. Greg pulled out his tablet, documenting unauthorized breaker operation by HOA President Linda Harper. SARE VYC restored. Recommend follow-up and tampering investigation. Daniels warned Linda of potential charges like reckless endangerment. She paled, the weight of consequences hitting. I saw my chance. Greg, I said loudly, ensure the report's accurate 200 amp SARE VYC, CL 200 meter, 4-aught aluminum SE cable, grounded per code before Ms. Harper's interference. Greg paused, surprised. You know your stuff, huh? I shrugged. You pick things up. Jake chimed in from the roof. Ethan helped us with a junction box issue, yesterday docked load balancing, and NEC compliance like a pro. Tom grinned, almost like he does this for a levying. Let Linda stew on that. Greg sealed the panel, warned Linda again, and left. The officer's ad VY set her to use proper channels, not 911 or tampering, and drove off. Tom and Jake packed up, nodding sympathetically. Crazy neighbor, Jake muttered. Alone, I raced to the nursery. Fans hummed, lights glowed, displays climbed back to 78 degrees Fahrenheit, 80 fan tram humidity. I misted the plants, checking for damage. A few droopy leaves, but they'd serve VYV. The UPS had died seconds after power returned. Disaster averted. But anger simmered. Linda's ignorance risked my life's work and was flat-out dangerous. The next morning, I skipped my usual jeans for a crisp Oxford shirt, slacks, and my city jacket with the Department of Buildings and Inspections crest. I clipped on my ID badge, Ethan Carter, Chief Electrical Inspector. With a clipboard, code handbook, and righteous purpose, I crossed the street and rang Linda's bell. She opened the door, annoyance shifting to suspicion. Ethan, what now? Still whining about yesterday. I cut her off, voice calm, professional. Good morning, Ms. Harper. I'm here as Chief Electrical Inspector. We received reports from the police and utility about unauthorized tampering at 124 Willow Lane BU. Her face drained of color, eyes darting to my badge. Chief, Inspector, she stammered. Du thou sao pulan sao. My hobbies are my business, I said coolly. My job is ensuring electrical safety citywide, including your property. Your tampering was illegal and dangerous. Her shock turned to sputtering outrage. That's impossible. I stepped back to the sidewalk, clipboard ready. Your actions necessitate a follow-up. Tampering VY OLAT's code section 110.3b. Your suspicions about energy use show a misunderstanding of safety, raising concerns about your property. I pointed to her overgrown azalea bushes crowding her meter, a fire hazard and clearance violation per NEC 110.26. Those bushes obstruct access, I said, noting it. Linda stared, horrified. They're healthy. They're not flammable. Code requires clearances, regardless of curb appeal, I replied. Scanning her house, I added, those extension cord for your lanterns? Not rated for permanent outdoor use. No GFCI protection. VY OLATing NEC 406.9. Linda panicked. This is retaliation. You can't inspect my house. Ms. Harper, I said, your documented tampering justifies this safety assessment. These violations are VY-cible from a sidewalk, under my per VYEW. Mr. Thompson watched, intrigued. Tom and Jake, back for solar work, slowed their truck, grinning. I noted Morris Suesa cracked outlet cover, an unprotected junction box. After 10 minutes, I handed Linda a violation notice. Correct these within 30 days VY, a licensed electrician, or face fines. The city and utility will contact you about tampering, penalties likely substantial. Linda took the paper, trembling, her fight gone. But the HOA, she whispered. HOA bylaws don't override state law or electrical code, I said. Consult a contractor. Have a safe day. I walked off, Leah VYing her stunt. Tom called from the roof. Chief Inspector found some issues, huh? Jake added, shocking. I smiled, just keeping things grounded. Weeks later, peace settled on Willow Lane. My nursery thrived, solar panels humming, my meter often running backward. Linda faced hefty fines and hired contractors to fix her violations, avoiding me like the plague. Rumors said she might quit as HOA president. One evening, misting a blooming sophalaenopsis saw, I reflected on Linda's meddling, how her quest for control targeted the one guy who could wield real rules. She wanted regulations. She got them grounded in physics and law. Maybe she'd learned not to mess with what she didn't understand, especially when it's the chief inspector's power. So what do you think? Was I too harsh? Or did Linda deserve every bit of it? Should HOAs have less power, or are they needed for order? And who's the real VY Lane here, Linda's paranoia, or my calculated takedown? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if you're Team Ethan, and subscribe for more Wild Neighbor Showdowns.